Hello friends, just want to make this quick video to talk to you about making papercraft models. Papercraft models are models that you can build using paper through a process of cutting, scoring, and folding together to make 3D objects. Papercraft models can be found online from multiple sources just by searching papercraft models. It's best to print on heavyweight printer paper so that it'll give you a little bit more structure. For cutting these out, I would recommend using an X-Acto blade. These could be cut out with scissors, but I don't know that you'd be able to get as precise of a cut as you would with an X-Acto blade. One of these self-healing cutting mats is very nice for cutting out your pieces, but not required. If you have cardboard around, it makes a good cutting board. However, corrugated cardboard might not be the best option. I would look for cardboard that is more solid, like you would find out of a cereal box. The more precise you are in cutting it out, the more precise your model is going to end up being. After you've cut out all of the pieces, next we're going to move on to folding and scoring. When you're folding and scoring, I find that the best way to score the edges for folding is with the back edge of the X-Acto blade. So our goal is not to cut all the way through, but to score the paper so that it folds along that scored line. So by applying a light pressure and using the back edge of the knife allows us to create a score. Now you can see that along that score line, it'll follow that score and fold very easily. You'll want to follow your plans and look carefully. Most of the folds are going to be normal forwards folds, but every once in a while there'll be a fold on the plan that will be a mountain fold or a reverse fold, usually indicated on the plans by a long dash short dash line as opposed to an evenly dashed line. Those folds you'd want to score on the back side of the paper to fold the other way. It is possible to still get an accurate fold by scoring on the front edge, so no big deal if it's too difficult to transfer that to the other side. When it comes to assembling, you want to take your time and analyze each piece. Get all the folds made, and then figure out how it's going to go together. What is going to be the easiest and the best way to proceed in gluing this together? What order of operations need to be taken to make sure that you'll be able to get glue on all the surfaces and close it up? I found that the glue stick glued together best when you're able to apply pressure between the two pieces being put together. So if there's a way to be able to pinch it together, the better your glue will stick together. I also found that with the glue stick, I utilized a toothpick and would use the glue more like a paste, using the toothpick as a brush to apply to each individual tab. So instead of trying to get the big fat glue stick into an area, I would just scrape a little bit off onto the edge of the toothpick and then use the toothpick to spread the glue across the tab and then stick it together. So you can see as I go along, folding and building, I'm taking my time to analyze each piece, looking at the plans, gluing, pressing, holding together each piece. It dries fairly quickly. Like I said, it's always good. You want to plan out all of your moves before you put the glue on. Make sure your folds are in the right spot and they're going in the right direction. Get it all folded up and planned out, and then figure out how many sections you can glue in one move. It might take multiple steps to glue a section, let that set, and then glue another section. Again, the glue doesn't dry really fast. It dries by applying that pressure in between the two pieces. I also found that sometime to get pressure between the two pieces, I was able to use a toothpick again or some other stick to get up inside to press on the tab on the inside with my finger on the outside. to be able to apply that pressure inside and out to really get the glue to adhere. So these plans that I had found for this particular model had a fairly good set of instructions that showed you the order of operations in which was best to put this together. Again, if you don't have really good information and instructions, you can still figure it out. Just have to take your time and fold it all up and figure out how it all goes together before you start gluing it up. Another tip and thing that I found was that as I was cutting out my plan, if you're cutting a straight line, it works best to cut straight and pull the knife back toward you. And so you end up needing to rotate your paper a lot. And I found that it was hard to slide my paper around on the mat, and I'd have to try and get my finger under the edge. So I got to the point where I just would bend up a little corner of the edge of my paper that didn't affect the model. And that allowed me to be able to easily spin the page around so I could always be cutting in orientation that was best for the cut I was making. Now at one point I did make a mistake and I glued a piece together that wasn't lined up to the edge that it was supposed to be lined up on. So I did have to go through and had to use my knife to cut free the glued area and kind of tear it apart a little bit. Worst case scenario is I might have needed to tape on a new piece or tape it together instead of gluing the tab together. Not really the end of the world, but plan ahead. So overall, this model took me about 3 hours to put together, taking a few breaks in between here and there, but fairly time consuming, but it was a fun process. And definitely something I'll do some more of again in the future. I will put a link in the video description showing you the website where I found this model, as well as linking some other websites that offer free papercraft models if this is something that you're interested in and would like to give this a try. So in addition to making a really cool model, papercraft is a great way to start to train your brain and learn some 3D spatial modeling reasoning and figuring out how different shapes can come together to build more complex shapes. So the more of these that you do, the more you will learn how you can manipulate a flat plane, cutting it into different shapes, folding it together, bending it together, to be able to make complex three-dimensional forms. Hope you found this fun and informative, and hope you take some time and try out some papercraft. It's been lots of fun. Take care. Be well.